Not really. Preventive care. That's what you gotta get into.
You gotta start with K through 12 schools.
P&M on the shelf. Let's see this. Okay. Good afternoon. It is 6 o'clock. This is a meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission. Can we have a roll call, please?
Yes, Mr. Chairman. Erasmo Guerrial.
Present.
Jose Tellez.
Present.
Carlos Flores.
Present.
George Beckelheimer.
Present.
Raul Ugalde.
Present.
Johnny Narvaez.
Present.
Abraham Lugo.
Present.
Jorge Dominguez.
Present.
For the record, Mr. Chairman, you do have quorum.
Thank you very much. The next item of business is, can everybody please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, the next item that we have is consideration approval of the minutes of July the 3rd.
I move to approve the minutes of July 3rd.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Do we have any citizens' comments at this time?
Not at the moment.
Thank you very much. The next item that we have is going to be the review and consideration of the following master plans. Okay, the first one that we have is the review and reconsideration of San Isidro North East Master Plan. The intent is residential. The purpose of the revision is to reconfigure phases and realign streets. This is 799.56 acres, and it is located north of Bob Bullock Loop. The proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, water and utilities, and that's it. Who's the, traffic? Do I have a traffic comment? And traffic, I'm sorry. Traffic has a comment too. Yes, I'm sorry. And a notice to developer. Okay. Who's the engineer of record here? Who's the engineer of record?
It is.
Not on here. Or is anybody here representing San Isidro North?
Slate. Slate Engineering.
San Isidro North.
We already voted it down.
Sir, we turned it down.
Hello, good afternoon. My name is Ramiro Ibarra from Slate Engineering, and we concur with the comments from
Okay,
City Authority.
that's what we wanted to know. All right, thank you very much. Any questions for the engineer? If not, what are the wishes?
Go ahead, Johnny.
I move to approve subject to the following comments.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
The motion carries. Thank you.
Thank
Next item is the review and reconsideration of La Islita subdivision master plan. The intent is residential, 16.3 acre tract located south of FM 1472 and east of the Max Mandel Municipal Golf Course. This is zoned R1. The proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, engineering, traffic, and a notice to developer. Who is here for Premier Properties of Laredo?
Good afternoon, Ricardo Ramos, with the Right Engineering.
Okay, do you concur with the comments?
Yes.
Okay. Any questions for the engineer? All right, if not, what are the wishes of the commission? Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to approve subject to the comments.
Second?
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item that we have is review and reconsideration of the North Laredo Industrial Park Master Plan. The intent is commercial. The purpose of this revision is to reconfigure phases and realign streets. This is 133.01 acres, and it is located north of Beltway Parkway and west of Interstate 35. The proposed action is approved, subject to the following comments from planning and a notice to developer. Yes, sir?
Good evening, Ricardo Villarreal, Howler Engineering, representing the client. We concur with all comments. If you have any questions, you can answer.
All right. Any questions for the engineer? Thank you.
I move that we approve item 6C with the comments.
Second.
A motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is review and reconsideration of the Achata East and West Master Plan. The intent is industrial, commercial, and residential. The purpose of this revision is to incorporate the proposed ND Achata Industrial Beltway South Subdivision Phase 1 and 2. This is 6.132 acres located between and adjacent to FM 1472 and Interstate 35. There's zoning for this is what?
6,132 acres.
I'm sorry, is it?
That's almost all of them.
Oh,
It has
yeah, it is
everything.
6,000. I missed it. I thought it was a period here.
It has all the zoning.
Can't see it clear. Okay, the zoning for this is, for these 2,080 lots is M1, R1, R1MH, B1, R1A, and AG. Proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning and a notice to developer from planning.
Mr. Chairman, Wayne Nance, Porras Engineering. We agree with all the comments. Thank you.
Very good. Any questions for Mr. Nance from the commission? Thank you, Mr. Nance. All right,
We approve item 6D with the attached comments.
we have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Oh, motion carries. Thank you. Next item is preliminary consideration of the plat of San Isidro Northeast, La Paz subdivision. The intent is residential. This is 44.39 acre tract located north of Juan Esquita Boulevard and east of International Boulevard. Proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, engineering, fire, water and utilities. Yes, sir?
Yes, again, my name is Ramiro Ibarra from Star Engineering, and we concur with the comments.
All right. Thank you. Yes, sir?
Ruben Dominguez, Alert Fire Department. We just wanted to just note, I guess for the record, one of the comments that was left out was that we also needed a turnaround on Ocio. On the comments, the only one that was noted was Escutia, but we need one also on Ocio, the north end of it.
Earlier today, I spoke with Mr. Lopez from the fire department, and we concur with that comment also.
Okay. All right.
We don't have a problem.
All right. Thank you. All right. What are the wishes of the commission? Thank you.
I move to approve subject to the following comment, adding fire comment number 2 to add the turnaround on Ocio Boulevard.
Second.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. The next item is a preliminary consideration of plat of Vaquero subdivision, phase 4. The intent is residential. This is a 9.3453 acre tract. It is located north of the World Trade Bridge and east of Riverbanks Drive. The zoning for 60C lot development is AG. Proposed action is approved, subject to the following comments from planning, water and utilities, and a notice of developer.
Traffic safety.
Traffic? Did I miss traffic? Let me see here. I sure did. Traffic safety. Yes. Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Wayne Nance, Porras Nance Engineering. We read all the comments. We agree with all of it.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. What are the wishes of the commission?
Move that we approve item 7B with the attached comments.
Have a
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. The next item is a preliminary consideration of the plat of Embarcadero subdivision, phase 12. I'm sorry, this is a cancellation. Is that correct? According to the email?
Yes.
That is correct.
So we need a
I'll make a
motion to table?
Motion to table the item.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Thank you. All right, the next item is preliminary consideration of the replat of Lot 1, Block 4, Hilltop subdivision, phase 2, into Hilltop Townhomes, Unit 2. The intent is residential. The purpose of the replat is to create a residential townhome subdivision. This is a 3.45 acre tract and it is located east of Michigan, north of Hilltop Road. And zoning for this 41 lot development is R3. Proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, from engineering, water utilities, traffic safety, and a notice to develop from planning.
Mr. Chairman, Wayne Nance, Porras Nance Engineering. This is one of those plats that's gonna be tied in with an SUP that will be here the next meeting. We found in the past that it usually works better if we postpone this until the SUP comes. That way they kind of take care of themselves. I've been through this with this commission before.
Yes.
So for that reason and that reason alone, we're gonna request that this is table time certain to the next meeting whenever the SUP is presented at the time.
Very good.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Make a motion to timetable for the next meeting.
We have a motion. Do we have a second?
Second.
And a second?
One question though. Mr.
Yes.
Chairman. Well, to Mr. Schneidman, so, I mean, if we're forcing this to time certain, how would we know that that's going to be ready for the next meeting?
Well, I suppose there's not a guarantee that it will be, but it's not a complicated process to submit for that application, so it's very likely that we'll be able to have that at the next meeting.
Well, we don't necessarily want to force you to do something out of order. I'm just thoughtful to the staff's time also, but
No, I mean, obviously, what he is requesting is he already knows where he is in the process. So he, he has a good feel for the time process to get back to the next meeting. Otherwise, he wouldn't have requested the next meeting.
okay.
So the engineer pretty much on top of it. Is that correct? Thank you. That's what it is.
Thanks.
All right, so we do have a motion to table.
Second.
And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye, motion carries, thank you. The next item is the preliminary consideration of the plat of Islita subdivision phase 1. The intent is residential. And the proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, engineering, traffic, Webb County, what is this, Webb County appraisal?
Yes, sir.
Plat, and it should be, okay. And then a notice to developer. Premier Properties of Laredo.
Hello, Ricardo Ramos with Do Right Engineering, and we concur with the comments.
Okay, thank you.
I move that we approve item 7E with the attached comments.
We have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. The next item we have is preliminary consideration of the plat of India Char Industrial Beltway South Subdivision Phase 1. The intent is residential. The proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, from water and utilities, and a notice to developer from planning.
Mr. Chairman, Wayne Nance, Porras Nance Engineering. On this one, we've spoken with staff and wanted to clarify the carrier, item comment number 1 from planning. We probably could have done a better job on the site plan to show you how this street that's Halley's Drive is gonna tie in with the Carrier Street Bridge. And we're gonna recommend, if we can put this up. We're currently presenting a preliminary plat for the yellow area, and this street over here is called Halley's Drive. And what we're proposing is that this street right here be called Carriers. And that's because it eventually ties into the Carrier Street Bridge that we pass under on I-35 on our way out of town. I mean, that has text dot signs, stuff like that, so in our opinion, that has a greater magnitude. We realize that this is gonna be one of the streets at one point, at some point, it's going to change names, even though it's an inline street. However, it's our opinion that the Carrier Street name, given its designation on I-35, carries a stronger weight, so we would like to name this, all of the remaining portion of Carrier, instead of Halley's Drive. And it terminates at Beltway, and so we feel that that's a good separation point, that's a good arterial street to separate the two separate names of the streets. Does that make sense?
Yeah, yes and no. For 911 purposes, that becomes a nightmare,
Okay,
you know? I mean, normally when you're looking in, and we've got Ruben here that can sort of attest to that, an emergency vehicle looking is gonna come to that intersection, stop and figure out, okay, now what? That's the only comment that I have to make on that. You know, it's a 911 emergency situation type issue. When we did, one of the things you wanna do is you have continuity on streets as far as you can. I take it that the other property is not part of this plat. It's already there and it's already exists near the street.
yes, that's correct, it's platted.
Haley's.
Exists.
I don't know how many, what is it? Looks like there's about, what, 2 lots maybe that before it dead ends? Is that something like that?
Yes, that's correct.
So my recommendation to staff would be to take a look at this particular area and maybe change that particular section, Haley's. Because you're right, Carrier is already all over the place. It's named by TxDOT and it just probably makes a lot more sense from a common sense point of view. But that again is gonna be a staff issue. That's not something that we can handle at this level.
Mr. Chairman, in that section where Haley's is at, we don't have any properties addressed off Haley's Drive. Those properties are addressed off other streets.
So that makes it even easier to make a change, to keep
Yeah,
Carrier.
those properties are addressed off the other,
The other Evolution Loop and
And-
Beltway Parkway.
that is correct.
Okay, so that's something that
So
could be done.
Haley's
Oh, that
doesn't
may
have
not-
any,
May not become an
addresses
issue
on
then. If they're not addressed, I mean, GPS system is gonna show you the address, whatever's there, so it may not be an issue.
that is correct.
May not be an issue. Okay, all right.
Well, can we look at that with staff and then?
I think
before we
so.
go
I
to
think,
final, this is a preliminary,
I
so-
concur with what you're saying.
Okay.
It just makes good sense, I guess.
Okay.
But it's
We'll look
a
at that
staff
with
call at this point. You all get together and work it out.
Okay, thank you.
Okay.
There's one other comment that we would like to look at, is item number 2. It says modify plat name to incorporate the name of the master plan, Achar Ranch East and West Master Plan, into this quote, this very, very long name nobody wants that plat name. I mean, that's just one heck of a long name. I understand from staff that was a comment that got thrown out during the TRB meeting, and I guess it's just there to, I guess for the sake of representation, but we have proposed to reduce that to Achar Industrial Park Phase 1. Something like what we're proposing, something more digestible. Once again, if you want us to work it out with staff, that's fine, but I don't want to agree with this $50 handle, it's too much for a plat. Nobody's, in the real world, whenever you're saying, okay, where are you located at? I'm at lot 1, block 1, and then this thing, it's just, it's onerous. So with your permission, I'm going to work with staff on this, but I have one in particular that, something reduced, something in line with what we see out there with the Achar Industrial Park, and then a phase number.
I think that makes sense to me. I'm gonna turn it over to staff. What you all,
Oh, absolutely, and one of the things is that, this master plan is huge. I mean, and it's been sold off into pieces, so it kind of creates this little bit of a burden, but absolutely be more than happy to.
okay. So
All
you're
right,
good.
thank you.
Okay,
Those are everything else that we're fine with?
okay.
All right, thank you all.
All right, thank you. All right, what are the wishes of the commission?
Move that we approve item 7F pending clarification of item, planning comment number 1 and planning comment number 2, as we just visited about.
Thank you.
Second. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Thank you. Next item is a preliminary reconsideration of the plat of Santa Cecilia Estate subdivision. The intent is residential. This is a 5.83 acre tract. It's located south of Casa del Sol and west of Aloha Verde Drive. The zoning is R1A for 39 lots. The proposed action is approved subject to the following comments from planning, from engineering, water and utilities, traffic safety, and notice to developer. Seco Holding, anybody here for that?
Good afternoon, Ricardo Ramos with Purite. We concur with the comments, except for one of them, which is, we talked about the rezoning. And I think right now it's in R1-A, So we wanted to maintain it at that. It's gonna be a residential homes, not mobile homes or anything like that, so.
Not what, I'm sorry?
It's gonna be residential homes, not a mobile home or park, so.
It is R1A.
What comment is
There's
that?
no one.
Yeah, I'm not seeing that comment.
It wasn't.
No, it's.
I don't,
I don't see.
I don't see the comment. I don't know which
Okay,
one you're
I'm sorry.
referring
I
to.
thought when you sent it, I read it.
Oh, no, it's
All
R1A.
right,
yeah, it's
then
on
we're
there.
good. We're good with the comments.
Just want to make sure that all the lots meet the R1A
Yes.
dimensional standards.
Yes.
Because I'm looking at one there and it's questionable.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. All right. We're good then.
Okay, all right.
Move that we approve item 8A.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
And a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. The next item is final consideration of the replat of Lot 10, Block 2, Monaco subdivision.
I have, I'm sorry, there's approvals, can we hear them all at once?
Yes, we can.
So what item is this? I don't-
9A,
I don't see the item.
9B, 10A, 11A,
Well, it's model rules compliance, is that also same thing?
pretty much,
9A through, I would make a motion to hear items 9A through
10A.
10A together.
Okay, we have a
Second.
motion.
Second.
Just a minute.
Oh.
Yep,
There's a comment on item.
There's no item number.
there's no comments on these.
And there's no item numbers on the pages.
Yeah.
These are final,
9A, B.
Do you have to, you have a number?
okay,
on
what-
The page doesn't, just.
9B,
Oh, well, okay.
let me see here.
Step to the front, please.
As a notice to developer engineering, detention improvements shall be constructed with the next phase due to significant difference between pre and post-development runoff, okay?
What item is that, the first one?
This 9B.
Oh,
Well, you know what, just a minute, before we even go there, let me get your motion on the floor and then we can discuss it. Your motion, go ahead.
Make a motion to hear items 9A through 10. A.
All right,
Second.
we have a motion, and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
All right, sir, okay.
Ricardo Villarreal, Holly Engineering. I'm here to discuss item 9B. There was a comment, and I don't know if you have this piece of paper, but it's a notice to developer. It's not really a comment, more like a notice, but the notice has a lot of teeth on it. So, it says detention improvements shall be constructed with the next phase due to significant difference between pre and post. Now, on drainage issues, when you have big tracks and you have a regional detention for your entire master plan, your first couple of phases, you give yourself a runoff letter until the development significantly negatively impacts downstream. Once it's negatively impacting downstream, that's when you have to detain. So this original master plan that you saw earlier tonight, it was 2 phases. And the 2 phases was this phase 1, which is already about 90% complete out in the field, and phase 2 was the remainder. There was some issues on the client changing ownership names, so these 2 lots weren't added to this first phase. In the first phase, the improvements were constructed. Storm improvements, water, sewer, these lots, although not platted, already have their proper water, sewer. The detention pond in question is to be constructed at the southwest corner of the entire master plan. So when we reconfigured this master plan and they asked us to rephase it, this is the actual, phase 2 is coming in for final. Phase 3, because there's a name change on the, didn't come in with phase 2, but it's already prepped, that one's gonna come in. But the note on phase 2 states that the detention pond, which is down here, and engineering, one-stop shop, they've seen all the drainage master plans, they've seen where it's gonna go. It's been explained that it's gonna go within this phase. But I think when everything got restructured and rephased, in phase 2, it has of course, the comment that states detention ponds shall be constructed in the next phase. So if we come with phase 3, which has already been prepped, which kind of is gonna be handled like phase 2. Phase 2 was, we did have to go through one-stop shop, but there wasn't any construction to it. Everything was already there. It basically was a survey of it. If we come in with phase 3, this note or this notice to developer has us building the detention pond for the future. So my only kind of issue is a correction is if we can deal with that at the one-stop shop. Even when phase 3 comes in, we'll still look at it again, and if the city engineer, city staff say, hey, you know what, this is, even though it's already, master plans have already been done, all that, if they say we need detention, we'll do it, and we can kind of iron it out at the one-stop shop. But to have a plat that kind of puts a crutch on the rest of the phases. And the only reason is, we've seen it so many times that if we come in with a right-of-way plat, extra right-of-way is gonna come in, we're gonna have to rephase it, that's the next phase. And so that'll kick in detention for that. It goes into like a broader scheme that a comment like this can kind of hinder this development.
All right.
It's not to say that detention might not be done on the next phase, it's just saying that we can reevaluate it when, at the one-stop shop, at the time it should be evaluated.
I think what he's saying here is that the numbers are, between pre and post, are significant, and that's why they're recommending this. So, this particular phase 2 is 17 acres.
Correct.
Phase 3 is how many acres?
Phase 3 will be about 9 acres.
So you're looking at about a potential 26 acres
Yes.
of runoff.
Yes.
What is the topography there? I'm not familiar with the
So
topography.
there's a big area, a big channel that it's dumping into. Now,
Okay.
that channel can handle that post-development.
Is that a creek or what?
Yes,
Going
it's
to
an
the river?
existing creek. Yes, it's an existing first order creek. That's not going to be touched. It'll stay at its natural state. It actually is very profound, very wide, deep. So the capacity of that can handle post development. Our storm comes in between phase 2 and phase 3, and there's another area here where storm hits that
So
major.
you have some storm inlets catching some of the water.
They're already built.
They're already
Yes.
in and they're
Yeah.
going out to the creek.
Yes. So the impact that phase 3 will have is gonna be minimal. Now, if you come in with phase 4 brings in a whole different animal. And that's where the actual detention pond is proposed in phase 4. And you can see it being encompassed in the phase 4 boundary. Now, again, engineering can change throughout phases, and that's why something like this, we kind of rather take care of it at one-stop shop. We'll still reevaluate the detention at phase 3, even if phase 3 comes in, because we still have to submit it to engineering. They still have to review it. We still have to submit the updated drainage master plans. But a comment like this, where if my client comes in, he's almost going to be forced to build phase 3 and phase 4 at the same time, because then if he comes in with phase 3, the detention pond, which is way far away, is going to have to be built because of this comment. And that's all I'm asking for, is us taking care of it where it should be taken care of as a one-stop shop and not be a comment at final plat. This comment got added towards the end of the.
Well, maybe we can reword the particular comment from engineering to say that this particular drainage issue on the construction of the detention pond can be further evaluated between the engineers and the city.
Yeah, I don't mind even saying detention to the point of detention improvements may have to be constructed
Well,
in the next
what I'm
phase.
saying is, between the engineer of record and the city's engineering,
Yes.
to discuss the item and see what is appropriate action to be taken,
Yes.
instead of what it is right now. Is that,
I personally, I'm sorry for interrupting.
Go ahead.
I personally don't see an impact. I feel that if we remove the comment, I mean, the way it is, there's not gonna be any impact on the creek.
well, here's the problem that I have. Engineer's not here. I don't know what their thinking was behind this. All I can say is that they're using the numbers accused, pre and post. I don't know what those numbers are. I don't know what the difference is. So there's a lot of stuff that I don't know. And that's why it's hard for me to totally remove it out and say, engineer and engineer, y'all get together and work it out. If it's deemed that it's gonna be necessary wherever, that's where you get it.
I agree. I would love to remove it, but as a comfort zone, I don't
Yeah.
mind leaving it in there as long as we're able to work it out and it's not a.
Sure, I have a comment for staff, so,
Yes.
or maybe
Go
you
ahead.
can help me answer. Why is it a final and not a preliminary consideration?
Actually, when we met with the TRB, this was a comment that came in, and just to assure themselves that there's a safety net. Now, I mean, granted, it wouldn't be a problem, the staff can definitely work with the engineer.
Because the word shall be is very
Just to work it out.
Yeah, shall be is like a
Yeah.
must.
Yeah,
And
absolutely.
we need to let a little bit of flexibility there where it can be worked out.
And that's all we're asking.
Okay. Okay.
Could it be
How do you
like,
want to word that?
Maybe?
Well, I think what we can word that is that detention improvements shall be discussed between the engineer of record and the city engineering department to determine when it is more appropriate for the construction of the detention pond.
So moved.
There you go.
write that
That's your
down?
motion.
There we go. If that's the motion, I'll second that motion.
Okay.
You're good with
That's
that?
your motion?
Yes, sir. Yes.
Okay, you're good? Second?
I'll second the motion.
All right.
Yes, sir.
All those in favor? Aye. Motion carries.
I move that we, oh,
And motion to move item, the remaining items.
Right, let's go ahead.
9A and 10A.
All right? Motion to approve?
Second.
And a second? All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank you. Next item is the item 10, I'm sorry, 11.
well, we need to approve item 9A and 10A.
That's what
We
just
did,
said.
that was his motion.
He said move them up.
No, I just said motion to approve the remaining items,
Oh.
which were 9A
Good.
and 10.
Okay. Okay, next one is 11A, model rules compliance, Arquero. Consideration of the model subdivision rule compliance for the plat of Arquero subdivision phase 3. And this is a very strict proposal, is to approve.
Approve, yeah.
Motion to approve.
We have a motion, we have a second,
Second.
and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries. Item 12A is the issuance of certificate of no plat required to the replat of all of C25 and north one half of C26 Botina subdivision into C25A and C25B Botina subdivision pursuant to section 212.004 Texas Local Government Code Appendix A of the Laredo Land, Appendix A of the Texas Government Code and Appendix A of the Laredo Development Code in Chapter 1, Section 3B subdivision ordinance with each tract containing 14.99 acres intended as agricultural. Okay?
We had a preliminary approved this before in March.
We had a preliminary approval in March. So it's approved, the staff recommends approve the issuance of certificate of no plat required subject to the following conditions. Modify the city of Laredo approval certificate to reflect the certificate of no plat required. Add a plan note that restricts lots to agricultural use as defined in Appendix A of the Land Development Code unless lots are replatted into compliance with state law. Makes sense, regulations. Okay. Motion?
I'll make a motion.
Questions or anything?
No, we went with this.
Yeah, it was an old item.
Yeah, I'll make a motion to approve.
Got a motion, we have a second and a second, all those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries, thank
Motion
you.
to adjourn.
Wait a minute, just a minute, we have a director's comments.
Sorry.
Hold on.
Steamrolling right over me. 12B. I'd like to speak with each of y'all to schedule that training. We brought a calendar here, so if you can just catch us on your way out so we can find a time. If we can't find it, if you need to be called when you have a calendar, then let's just, let us know when a good time is, we can reach you. We want to do these trainings and orientations for every commission member, and we'll come to you if we have to, at your workplace. We'll come to your home, wherever you would like that's most convenient. If you want to come to us, that's easy. And the training should take, for individuals, between an hour and a half, depending on how many questions you have. And if there are a group of y'all that want to get together, and more questions, maybe an hour and a half, you could plan on that. So we'd love to do that. Other than that, I just want to say again, and I'll keep saying it, thank you very much for your service. Sometimes the public that comes here don't realize that you volunteer your time. You don't get compensated as commission members. And we're very grateful that you do that. It makes a difference. Sometimes when you're just approving things quickly, maybe you don't feel it, but there are other times when you're considering very serious things for the city, and we're going to be bringing you those things, some long-range planning items over the next several months, couple of years, as we do the Recode Laredo, our bicycle master plan, as we redo this year, starting this year, our thoroughfare plan and our future land use plan. Those are all big things we're going to be bringing the commission first to send a recommendation to council. So if you felt today a little bit like, oh, okay, put a monkey up here for some of this. No, we couldn't, but they'd be touching too much stuff. But there's some really important stuff that's coming your way, and we're going to be changing some things in Laredo. So we're very grateful for your service. It means a lot when you come. Thank you.
Great. I do have one question for you, Kirby. When are we getting the CIP presented to us? We have to make a recommendation to the council.
Right now, I believe we're working on that as staff with, we're going through that, so I couldn't tell you the timeline, but
Because I know that the budget was already submitted to council. And a CIP, I think, was already submitted with that budget, if I'm not.
not yet.
From what I
We're
heard,
having
no.
budget meetings with council later this month.
I know that, but
It'll be a workshop.
Yeah,
So
but-
that's a workshop
I
that,
think the ordinance, if I'm not mistaken, says that you need to submit the CIP to the planning department, the planning commission for approval.
I'll double
Before,
check on that, if that is the
double
case,
check on
we'll
it, but
make
that's the
sure-
ordinance, okay? So that we can, maybe at the next meeting, or, get a presentation,
Will do.
okay? Thank you. Now,
Motion to adjourn.
motion and second,
No.
all those in favor? Thank you. It's the, capital improvements program for the city. of
Gentlemen?
Toledo For the next 5 years.
We might have to reconvene just for a second. We skipped 12B, item 12B.
Well, see, I don't have it on my,
There's no 12B
I
on
don't
the
have it
agenda.
here. It's
It's not on our agenda.
not, I don't have it on the system.
I don't know why.
What is it? What is
Oh,
it?
wait,
I mean, I'll read
regarding
it.
the
Bring
cancellation of
me
regular.
something that I can read. All right, guys, sit down for a second.
I make a motion to reopen the meeting.
All right, here we go. We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
All right. Just give me something that I can look at.
It would help if we had it.
Yeah, I have no idea.
I don't know what happened. Yeah, the link didn't have it either, by the way. Thank you.
Okay. All right, this is, item 12B, there, regarding the cancellation of the regularly scheduled Planning and Zoning Commission meeting on November the 7th, and calling a special Planning and Zoning Commission to be held on Halloween.
Oh.
Yeah, I'm not
And
gonna
any
make
other
that.
matter incidental to.
Neither request.
Yeah, I'm not gonna make
Wait a
that.
second.
Huh?
I'm not gonna make that.
You're not gonna make Halloween?
I'm not gonna make it.
You're not gonna make Halloween either?
I won't be able to read it.
Is it between you guys or my wife being pissed off at me? So I might have her not pissed off at me.
Okay, we've made a few errors today, so forgive us, but, let's look at the calendar right now. I think what we meant for that to be is, where's the calendar? See, what's happening is that week that we have that regularly
There's a
scheduled,
planning,
there's a planning conference in
yeah,
Waco. It's a
in
state.
Waco.
You told us about it.
Yes,
Yes, but
so
October 31st is a conflict.
that's a conflict, so I think what we were
Can we
planning
make a motion to
is-
move it to October the 30th, which is a
Exactly.
Wednesday? There
That's
should
what we
be no
meant to do.
meetings on the 5th week of the month for the city.
Yeah,
I like.
the 30th.
Yeah, the 30th is what we meant to put. I
Okay.
don't know how it got 30th.
Okay.
Oh,
It'll be a
So
Wednesday.
we'll go ahead, I'll take your
Okay.
motion.
Make a motion to move the regularly scheduled meeting for November the 7th to October the 30th of 2019.
We have a motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Motion carries,
Motion
thank
to
you.
adjourn.
Now, motion to adjourn.
Second.
And a second, all those in favor? Aye. Good.
Thank you, gentlemen, thank you very much.
All right.
In the meeting.